do lean towards the side of this TeamX draft. I think there's a lot of cohesion here. The Terra's fun to see, sure, and like all jokes aside, I like the new stuff. I like to see the weird stuff. I like to see the gadget, but I like the mentality here for sure. Tang, with all said and done, Decker locked in, who do you think is the better draft?
It's hard to say because the identities are so different. I like the adaptation out of Ronin as well, right? The Revenant being able to sort of negate any microwave combo that TeamX wants to do. Like you have the Muriel, but in the Reckoning, you obviously can't help your target out. So in terms of like the power picks also, Ronin picking up the Quang and the Grux, I mentioned it at the start, right? Those are picks that are usually reserved for first pick or banned away in general. So out of Ronin, I kind of like the draft in general, right? Like the team fighting should be sick. Like their 3v3s look just demonstrous, right? So I think in terms of that, I think I would give Ronin the edge. But if this Team X composition, right, plays to perfection, then I don't think there's much Ronin can actually do.
Sorry, we're running out of time, Frauke, but I want to get your answer. One word, who's got the better draft here?
Ronin.
Cute. Feels like mid-game to late game, whoever hits the gas at the right time winds up with the victory, but this is why we play it. Let's see who actually gets it. TeamX, Ronin, game one of a best of three.
Thank you so much, Desk, my friends. I always say there's no better way to start an EU cast or game than with an NA cast. Philly, I'm seeing some spicy stuff in the drafts here. It looks like we might have a pretty bloody, pretty explosive game if some of these players get off to a good start. But then again, we're EU.
Yeah, the EU is always about that macro sense, right? How are we moving across the map in these tiny steps to gain our advantages, get to our timings, find those little pieces of gold to get that extra boost? I'm really liking the composition from Team X here, and it's because of this Muriel pick. I think, Spooky, you and I were talking as the draft was going, this Terra in the offlane against the... Same. That's why we're yappers, man. That's why that's on our resume. That's why I wear the badge on
we're
the
up here
chest.
instead of down there.
Exactly. Yeah, my thumbs are... I got like two left thumbs, I guess. I don't know how that works,
thumbs?
but...
Bro,
maybe I'll play with my feet next time. So with the Grux versus the Terra, and this is going to allude back to the Mural, right? Those two are going to battle it out. Grux will probably have it in that before level 6, like we were talking about during the draft. Then she gets her ultimate, the Unstoppable. She can kind of fight through some of those CC. She's going to look to pick on this Grux. Mural is then going to help dive in because Grux wants to play in that low health pool. Like, you can get me, then I'll double pay and heal up. Mural turns the tides, changes that thought process. So the Grux has to be careful when that Mural hits level 6. The team needs to communicate that, hey, don't play as aggressive as you think, or don't get baited into a fight. Because if you lose it out there, then they can push an objective. Those are those one-off picks that EU is so good at mastering to then roll into an objective take, whether it's a tower or mini prime, whatever. So G-Rolly going to have to be very careful on this Grux.
Sure.
Not to get baited out, but has been prolific throughout this tournament so far on that character. So you got to trust him on that. I really like Team X's team fight overall, right? The Tesla Dome just does a massive amount of damage in these pit fights. Proper clean on this Rampage. I've seen him on stream a number of times. He's usually plays the Chimera, but has played the Rampage and the Richter too. So he's looking very clean
better than
on
others.
Yeah, but Richter, the Sticky Rig has been fun to watch during this this series. Has he made it through? Yeah.
Chimera's the name I don't like.
Yeah, Chimera. People have been trying to make him work because his jungle tempo, right? So they can get to those neutral objectives, but he's just one note kind of guy, right? He's just playing, and that's just boring. Nobody wants to do
I'm
that.
in there.
So yeah, I very much appreciate what Team X is trying to do in the team fight game. But as Tang alluded to, there's this massive pick potential on the side of Ronin, and it's on the back of this Decker. If they can hit these stasis bombs, get those containment fences in, that's a lot of setup for burst damage from your howitzer, from your Revenant. I got to talk about Howie too. And Spooky, I want you to chime in on this because I could just talk for hours about this game. But I love the resurgence of Howie in this meta. I was like looking at him like, Howie's being played a lot ways. This way is this. He's got so much damage, and people have found a way to protect him and move to some of those objectives to burst them down quickly. And so I love to see Kimbo, especially on the hamster in the mech once again.
Yeah.
He's just going to be looking to put the hurting on all across the map.
Yeah, we've seen him on this Howie a couple times. He's looked phenomenal. And frankly, it's just a very powerful pick, right? I've got damage, I've got range, I've got safety. What more could you possibly want? CC, well, I've got a little bit of that as well. Very safe character because you can stand so far back, knock yourself away if you need to. I really like the pick coming out. My question for you here, Philly, as we get into this game, you mentioned back here in this off lane about the Muriel coming over once this Terra hits 6 with that reversal of fortune helping things out. Do you think we see kind of a two-pronged approach? Mind you, these are not the correct names up at the top. Don't worry about that. There they are. So, if you can get TeamX to reversal of fortune all the way over, you then maybe push with Ronin on the duo side and try to target this Grim who's left by himself because he has no mobility, and maybe set up a gank for that?
Yeah, I think that's the move you got to do. Depends on what the lane priority is. Are they pushed up? Are you pushed in? Is your jungler are on that side already? Those are those micro movements that EU is so good at because it's space efficiency. If you know that you're on one side of the map, you can then make it work because your timing will be there. If you're on the other side of the map and that rotation comes in, well, then it's not going to work. So it really is dependent on those little micro transactions within the lane to get those kind of kills on. So we'll have to look out for that, folks. But when you see that Muriel flying around the map, expect there to be a response elsewhere.
And when you're there, you can be there. When you are not there, you cannot be there. That's basically how this game goes. I'm interested to see where everything will kind of start off. Over on this right side, I do expect maybe a little of trading going on, maybe a little bit of even advantage for the side of Ronin here. But I really want to keep our eyes on this jungle as well. Flame on this Kwang has been pretty decent in the times we've seen him. At the same time, though, you can already see mid lane taking some poke as well. So where exactly do these teams look to get things rolling? And how careful do you have to be in these early levels to make sure you're not giving too much up?
Yeah, it's about the seedlings right now, and before this 5-minute mark. Yeah, those little bug guys. As we take a look at the augments, I just want to highlight they are a feature to see if there's anything wonky out here, and I'm not seeing anything too much out of the ordinary between these squads. I like Proper Clean going for the rock augment there, so we can get some of those longer initiations from the fog wall. So that's one to highlight. They didn't go for the rumble augment that helps his clear, so he'll be looking to facilitate by using the rock. So that's going to be, it's almost like a Richter hook, right? It's all in if you're picking that augment. But like we were mentioning, my friend, it's those seedlings. How are you facilitating your jungler to get one or both, if you can, in this early game Flame? He's looking to make a gank.
He's looking, but he's been spotted out on a ward. Might not matter because the containment fence comes up, and just like that, Tutankhamun finds himself a first blood victim. Flame Poikin on the board.
Oh my word! They had a ward there. Like, how do you?
They had the
see
ward.
That you're stepping up a
little
little
too far
bit.
Away?
A little too far away, but an even better sword toss there, looking like the guys from Scotland, just tossing those logs around.
Those are axes.
They're axes too. That's right. They're tossing some type of weaponry.
I'm not Scottish, I don't know.
But that's one of the detriments of these Enchantress supports. They're very squishy in the early game, and especially a Muriel who doesn't have any hard CC. She's got shields and she's got slow, not really a containment fence or rocket boosts or dash away, whatever. So definitely vulnerable in there. I want to talk about this Grim. The reason why he's been picked up is to counter those tank supports because his pulse fire, the passive, does true damage. And so you can chunk through those big beefy boys. And those big supports, they usually want to build the items that have physical armor, not necessarily magical, and Grim does magical damage in spades. So if you can just pump magical damage, which is why you pair him with a Phase, a Muriel, a Decker, whatever, you can then protect him and also just pump magical damage that you're not building against. So you just free damage that you're getting into your lane opposition, which gets lane priority, which then opens up other sides of the map. The process flow of Spooky goes on and on because of this character in the meta right now.
Here's the big question, though. Are you overloaded on magic damage? Because you got the Grim, you got the Muriel, you got the Gadget. Your only physical damage is coming from Terra and Rampage, who aren't the biggest damage dealers in the game right now, right? Sure, you can build damage items on this Terra, but if you do so, you probably die when you pop your ult and try to run in. Sure, you can build damage items on this Rampage, but the same thing kind of applies. So is this a situation where Ronin can start building that magical damage? Do they have the characters for it? Or medical
think
props.
Yeah. I think the Kwong, okay, yes, he'll build some of that. The Grok's not necessarily, especially because we've been seeing a lot of folks build Ashbringer in the off lane, which is helping his ability damage, so he can get the double pain off longer. Then he'll still build Salvation, which just gives him health, and then that shield. But right now, that Fangtooth, that's the first one to go down. We've been stuck on the items, but the match is happening.
Great containment fence comes out from Cheech to slow down the aggression, but it might not be enough. Flame Poikin finds a good blink. He's out of dodge. Still, Team X want to move forward. They do look at Cheech, but that jump just takes him so far away. He's going to sacrifice a 3 camp, but Fangtooth for 3 camp. You tell me which is more valuable there, Philly.
Oh, I mean, that was such a great disengage from the side of Ronin. They were, for Ronin, they were in and out of there like a shot, spreading themselves so the other team didn't know which to engage on, using all their resources to get out. And on the other side, G-Rolly was pushing the issue, locking that Terra in. She couldn't rotate, had to stay in lane. He's already gotten a plate over here. That's what we expected in this offlane, Spooky, is that G-Rolly would be winning this out, but now that Decker Dan is level 6. Oh, the leash was supposed to be patched after that. Okay, it looks like the steal will come through, and so will the Warlord's challenge.
And Decker Dan going to go ahead and take a small exchange there. Doesn't end up stealing that Cyan buff away. Jolly was able to secure. Just a little shy on the last basic to secure it. But, not really punished for it. Instead, it's going to be Drekkager who has to take that reset. I won't see another plating go down, but it does open up this 5 camp invade. You can already see Flame Poikin up on the aggressive side of things. So as Flame continues to be aggressive here, do you think we see him transition into some ganks? Do you think we're looking for mini primes or just a little bit more invading?
Yeah, that's a good question here. It depends if the opportunity presents itself. That's why the jungler is that advanced position. Is the advanced position on the chart? Is that your decision tree is always complex depending on what the other 3 lanes are doing. He could have gone for a mid gank there, but the Gadget was already pushing under tower, so that's not viable. Okay, how do I make the split-second decision to get myself another resource? All right, my 2 camp is here, have G-Rolly back off, and now the gank is on Dan in danger.
Proper clean is on his way over, though. Drekkager Dan still has some health. Jirali has to disengage. The CC comes through.
Blink.
Now Flame is the target, and he cannot get out of there. No help comes, but Kimbo might be able to secure a kill. Drekkager uses a wall, blocks a lot of them, make it rain. Can you find the last R2000? No, sir! Dodged out again, and Proper Clean says, here's a rock for your troubles. Cheech comes in, but so does Romaware. The security gate is secure indeed. Kimbo locked out and shut out. That's going to be Cheech. Pushed back under the tower. That's a nice couple kills for Team X.
Oh, disaster there for Ronin. They thought they could have turned it, but they got the turntables on him instead. And now the mini prime it's a proper clean fight. Now they're able to turn and go to the mini prime. That was well done. They chained their CCs exceptionally well, locking that howitzer down, but the fancy feat from Dan can't be understated. Blocking those salvos using the architecture of the map. Well done from him. Knowing that, though, Flame is able to take this newly respawned ceiling on the other side that's going to help him get his farm. A good Tainted Scepter here to kind of cut through some of the healing on the other side. But still, a good fight win there for Team X. This is going to be closer than I think a lot of people think.
You're always going to maintain the pressure over on this right side of the map. Mini Prime not going to fully alleviate that. I think what this has shown us is he has to be very careful. He needs to make sure he's getting those wards down. Because Team X is not going to be passive, right? They made it all the way up to this point. Yes, they're in the loser's bracket, but they're still deep in it. This is round 5. They have not come here by coasting. Got a lot of fire left in them, as the next Fangtooth is getting ready to come up. We've seen that both these teams pretty interested in getting these objectives. Clearly, Ronin a little bit more willing to pull the trigger quickly. But after the last fight, Team X going to be in position.
And they don't have to make it rain for this fight. That's a lot of their burst potential at this moment off the board, because Remy is not up to speed. Yes, he has the Vanquisher, but that 4th shot is not going to be hitting that terribly hard. Yes, it still hits, folks. Don't blame me in chat too hard, but not enough to just delete somebody right off the screen. So it's going to be on the back of this missile salvo, which now has just come online. So they might feel comfortable. You can see him now rotating over, but Proper Clean, he's in the area. That boulder snipe could do some damage. Looks like the Ronin team, they're starting it up.
Ronin just has more members here more quickly. You can see Jirali over there keeping Drekkager locked in, make sure that neither offlaner can rotate through. Dude, Shaman and be the first one to engage and immediately sent into the Shadow Realm. There's nothing the proper clean could do to secure this one. Fangtooth goes the way of Ronin, and Kimbo takes to the skies and gets himself right back out. Everybody again disengages. It's such a clean objective take.
And that is just well-practiced squad maneuvering. This is a MOBA after all. You have to coordinate all 5 members in sync. The support has to go one way. They're the dangling meat. So if somebody does get caught out, it's going to be the support. It's the chase. Knowing you have your ultimate available, you can hop out of the pit. If you had a Gideon, you Torn Spade out to the back, or a Glacial Charge if you're the Aurora, whatever. So a great set of way to know they could take it in time before the engage came through, and a great way to escape and not give anything else up. So 2 Fang Teeth on the board here for Ronin. That's great economical prowess, but also that extra speed boost. And there's that 4th shot, putting easy peasy in the grave.
He tries to blink out of there, but unfortunately can't get far enough. Jirali doesn't take a second tower shot, so he's okay for right now. Finds himself a kill. So 2 kills for Ronin on opposite sides of the map. That is a really good feeling, right? You get yourself a Fangtooth, you're winning on 2 sides of the map. TeamX clearly can group up and find success. Romaware in some trouble, and so is Kimbo. Proper clean, just gonna run him down under the tower. Says you don't have a way out of this one now. Turning their eyes towards Flame Poikin. Gonna have to take the fight, but the shielding is good. Rock comes through, and oh my god, the security gate again! No! The CC change of the hat! Just drag you away! Ronin, find 2 and take 2.
Roma wear his namesake, making him wear the hat on the other side, exploding him. It's a double whammy there for Flame Boykin because he expended the blink of all things, my guy. And even though he had the fashion statement on him, oh, you hate to see it. But a great gank there, a good response. This is why these are professionals. They do not tilt when one gank doesn't go their way or one engagement doesn't go their way. They know, okay, let's try to be the aggressors next time and see what happens. So it's just been a punch for punch between these titans. And folks, we haven't even stated that this is an elimination match. One of these teams will go home after the end of this best of 3 and will not be in our grand final week at the beginning of October. So these players, they're putting everything that they can, Spooky, on the line in this one.
And you can really feel that tension on this, right?
Yeah.
3 to 4 on the kill board, and Gold still slightly favoring Ronin, but not enough to think we're running away with this game. Both these teams are fighting for their lives in this tournament, and they have no shortage of fighting in them. Jirali making the rotation over, but Kimbo has been pushed away by the poke damage coming out from this gadget. It's just so free to do and hard to deal with.
Yeah, Gadget definitely outpokes because she has more abilities to do so for those purposes, right? You have the R2000 for the Howie, but that's it. And then maybe you launch the mine in, but you want to save that for your escape. But then you have the slow grenades, but that's kind of easily dodged. But if you're taking hats, you're taking lamps, that's really difficult to fight against. So I would imagine they'll be looking to do that early so that he can't rotate 2 objectives, this howitzer, and that's what they want to do. But easy peasy, he's caught in the zoo.
Yeah, they were just waiting for the containment fence, but Drekkager Dan takes the portal to come on over. No, it's not going to be enough because easy peasy goes into the Shadow Realm, and that is where his grave falls. Now Remy trying to find a way back out. He knows that this Terra cannot use the teleporter, and he's got the space double kill. 4 shots, 2 kills.
My goodness, looking like a Green Beret, the sniper on now, and everybody flying across the map. Got to highlight our observer here, Bangle Mac, catching all the action. It's a lot to maneuver around, and a good timing here for the support. And he's going to make his way over to the mini prime and help him out.
Says, you know what? This wasn't an escape. We were playing for the objective the entire time. You don't have us on the ropes. We've got you. And honestly, that's a great transition. Get yourself 2 kills on your carry. On a carry like Revenant, who scales so hard as this game goes up. The more items he has online, this feels obvious, but the faster you will die. It's just so enhanced with his damage.
Yeah, and so the Vanquisher definitely helping out with that. Has the a tier 2 item there as well. So putting in some damage, and he made it work, right? That Grim was not long for this world. He took a couple shots and he was done. So it's this Terra, though, which was everybody's question mark within the draft. What is she going to do now that the third Fangtooth is online? She has to make this rotation. I'm going to be looking at her in this fight. Does she go for the backline, keep the Revenant busy, or go for somebody else? That will be the question right now. Dan, he's stuck in the mid lane.
The biggest problem for Dan right now is getting to that backline, because sure, you can pop the ult, you can run through every single CC they throw at you, but Cheech has been on point with the containment fences. You can't get through that. So TeamX has to find a way to bait that out before they look for their dive. Otherwise, they're probably not getting too much success. Jirali, though, taking a lot of damage. To find a way back out. Double pain. Gonna give him a big boost to healing. Smash and grab. Pulls easy peasy in. It's gonna be Jirali who falls first. That said, Flame just drops down, crashing from the skies. It's like lightning. And lightning strikes twice, my friends. Flame Poikin bringing the pain.
Holy moly, guacamole, and then there's nothing they could do about this. It's a free Fangtooth after that good engagement because they had to send Proper Clean all the way back to base. He was poked out to oblivion. That is a third Fangtooth for Ronin. I didn't even see Dreckinger Dan in that fight. He didn't know which way to go.
That's the problem. He didn't know which way to go because there's so many problems to look at. Team X really needs to find a time to come together and try to be the aggressors. That window may be closing, though. Take a look. Shaper goes down. Cataclysm gonna be coming through. That's just more gold pushed into Ronin's pockets. The bigger lead they get, the tougher it's gonna be to be the proactive players. And Team X right now, they're getting put in a hole.
Yeah, they're down 3 Fang Teeth. They're down too many primes. It's a lot of economical damage that they have to bring back up, but there's still some towers on the board for them. They did get one in the duo lane, so the mid and the off lane looking pretty healthy for them, so they have to roll into one of those engagements. I know they're playing for that late game where they have the Grim, but none of these other characters, maybe the Gadget a little bit because of her passive with the stacks can go late game, but the rest of these characters, not so much, man. Even when they're 6 slotted, you don't really feel that much of an impact. So this is going to be tough for Team X. Their timing was right about this 20 to 25 minute mark when the Grim has like 3 to 4 items online. Then you kind of hit it, but they might be too far behind to get it done. These two brawling it out in the jungle.
Here's the thing. In order to have a late game, you have to have an early game as well. And right now, Team X, they don't seem to have too much going for them. Yes, they've got 5 kills on the board, but what objectives do you have? What have you done with those 5 kills? You've gotten a single tower on that left side. Ronin, they've been taking tower pressure left and right. They've been grabbing objectives. They've been building themselves up to their late game with the early game that they have. Team X, they gotta find something to bring these pieces together if they're gonna survive to execute their game plan. Look, Jiraiya's 2 levels up. Why are we fighting him? Oh, because we got help.
Oh my. Okay, and there it is. That's the bait and switch we were talking about, friend. I'm gonna dive in. No, I'm a little bit under leveled. Then the reversal of fortune will come. Now it's a save your friend syndrome, and it's a stasis value there from Flame Boykin. He's looking to turn it around.
Flame Boykin had save your friend syndrome, but everyone else on Ronin also had save your friend syndrome for Flame Boykin. Luckily, it pays off for that one. Stasis actually doing some good work there. I don't often see someone stasis in front of like 3 enemies and survive, so hey, first time for everything.
Absolutely, and yeah, this is exactly what I want, Bangle, because Flame has gone with the Epoch, folks. Normally we see him go for the Occult Crest, where you can go for Tempest or Basilisk or Obelisk, whatever. This is a very interesting choice here for him, so he's really looking to dive in and then just stasis like you saw there and wait for the team to come through and then dash away. So I like to see that. I like the Golem's gift as well. That will give him that extra durability to do just that. He's chasing down the Terra. She is dead.
Dreckinger Dan falls once again. A little bit of teamwork there. Revenant, the Reckoning just, again, avoids anything that this Terra wants to do. She wants to dive in. She wants to be CC immune. I don't believe you can CC immune the Reckoning. Correct me if I'm wrong. Also correct RoamAware for daring to step up without a massive amount of help there with him. He's gonna die for his sins.
2 ultimates expended though to bring him down, but this is Flame Boykin's MO. He is such an aggressive player. He always wants to run at you, which is why I think the Magnify and the Golem's Gift working well together helps him with that. You get the stacks, you get the armor, you can take some shots as you're running at somebody because he is very linear sometimes in his approach. And you saw how panicked the Gadget was as he was running at him. And then he expended the Fury, allowed the salvo to come through, and down goes the mid laner. It's about what can they get off of that now is the question. Fangtooth is about to come up. They are clad in purple for now. Let's see if they can get it done.
It's going to be a big Fangtooth. TeamX can put up a defense here or even get the Fangtooth themselves. That's big for their chances. But if they allow this fourth to go through, this primal Fangtooth to be on the 3-stack Team Ronin, it's going to be tough to make a defense around any of these towers. I mean, just look at the map. Right side tier 2 is basically dead to Jirali, who doesn't even bother leaving this lane. He's got full confidence in his team to get this Fang.
Yeah, and the Tesla Dome was expended in that mid gank, so that's their prime engage tool when it comes to these Fang Teeth fights. So you don't have that. Do you posture and wait for it to come online? Proper Clean says, hell no, I'm going in.
Good containment fence, again, to make sure there's no aggression that comes through. Again, you can run at them all you want, but you can't move through the walls. Sure, Proper Clean could have jumped over. Probably signs his death warrant doing that, going too deep.
Yeah.
Now everyone from Team X gets pushed away, and Team Ronin can move towards this Fangtooth. Everybody's here. Pop the Behemoth. They want the fight, but he gets rooted in place. Has to jump right back out. Primal's still alive, but easy peasy. Can't say the same. Flamepoint can turn around with his shield. Drop after drop. Looking for the jungler. If they can get this one more pick or just drive him away, that's all Ronin need. 5 Samurai looking for a win.
They have it there, friend. I was watching Dreckinger Dan that entire time. He went on Flame Boykin, who stasised, and then it was 4 shots from the Revenant, and he was dead.
Yeah.
So Dan couldn't get it done. I see he was going for the jungler, right? Keep him out. But that was never Ronin's plan in the first place. It was start and turn. That was always going to be their strategy. They executed there, chase everybody away. Nothing Team X could do. The 4th Fang secured for the Dawn side.
I really feel like this is how a lot of teams need to play these objectives when you don't have the pick, right? A lot of times we see teams try to rush the objective, burn it down quickly before the enemy team gets there, and if they don't do it in time, they get caught. It's like, well, it's already so low. Ronin simply approached with the idea of, hey, let's bait this and force them to fight. And that's how you play a lead, Philly. That's how you win games.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are firmly in control in this one for game number 1. As a reminder, it's a best of 3. So, Team X, they can always bounce back. A lot of folks with hardware on this squad, namely Romaware, right? For the French national team won the Nations League way back when. So people with pedigree, as well as Easy Peasy. Sorry, can't forget you. So they know how to bounce back. This lead, maybe a little bit insurmountable, not gonna sugarcoat it, but you never know. It always takes one fight, especially as it gets to like the 30-minute mark. If they can survive, one fight can turn it because those death timers are so large. But we definitely have. So, there's you're saying there's a chance, Spooky, and that's what I'm telling you.
Definitely still a chance. It's going to require some coordination, some good teamwork. But Team X are not completely out of this game. Sure, they don't have an objective to their name. Sure, we did just use Reversal of Fortune to go back to base. But that means you didn't die. And as long as you're not dead, that means you're on the map to have an impact. You're around to have those shields. And right now, a good defense is exactly what Team X needs. We've talked about these tier 2s before. Most likely, you give these up. Maybe a soft defense, poke some damage out. But as soon as you know that Ronin is going to go ahead and commit to this, there's not a lot you can do. And not even a hard push is required from Ronin. They just take that out.
Yeah, I mean, they're double bubble buffed, friend. You do not want to fight into this. And they have the 3 Fang Teeth, so they have that extra 8% offense and defense. This is really difficult. So, yeah, I think the inhibitor is where you put your final stand, if anything. These tier 2s at this point are basically time wasters. We say that all the time. I'm looking at Romaware for this wave clear. That's what the mid lane is supposed to do. You have to kill the waves first. You can see not even time to do it. The inhib is down.
Inhib is down. Romaware's not able to clear these minions out. But Team X, I think, have made a very wise decision. They said, we're not sacrificing any of our health bars on this. The push is still coming. Let them run out a little bit of this Orb Prime. We'll be ready for our next defense. We'll let one inhibitor go, not two.
And the inhibs come back as long as you can survive long enough.
Oh.
Flame, he goes diving in. Oh, there's that E-pocket saves him for now.
No, it does not. Easy peasy said, oh, an easy target. But Kimbo rains a shot down from the skies, and easy peasy gets dropped off of it. Now TeamX 4v4, but the numbers are not even. It's still Ronin with the Orb Prime and an advantage. But Boulder just can't follow up.
I mean, with your Grim is your damage dealer, right? That's priority target number one. So if he's down, there's no other damage on this team, really. So G-Rolly, if you pull somebody off of this, there's no way he goes for this, dude. If he tries to single dingle somebody, I'm eating a piece of paper. I don't even care. Oh, a pause!
Look, guys, a new feature. This time, when we have a DC, we get to pause the game. Philly, I, for one, am so glad we have this. This feels so much better.
I love it. And thank you, Bangle Mac, for bringing up the tab screen, which I also love. Spooky. We're seeing a 13K discrepancy between these squads right now, and that is coming off of those objectives because you can see the assists very close between 19 to 17 on these teams. So, that's gold that those assisted members are getting. And then the kills is 5, so that's really not too much. It's the objective gold that they've been getting, clearing the seedlings, the shapers, the primes, the fangs, the gold flowers that spawn across the map. That is all contributing to this economical advantage.
Philly, something catches my eye here, and I want to talk to you about this because it's an item I personally like, but I don't see it get picked up a whole lot. I want you to look at Grim here. Last item, Dust Devil. A little bit more mobility, gets him some speed. What are your thoughts on this item?
I mean, he's going for a basic attack build because he's got the Imperator and he's got the Tainted Rounds. So he just wants to be like pop, pop, pop. Why not Plasma Blade? That's a good. We haven't really seen folks run Plasma Blade on the Grim in this tournament.
But I like it.
It's usually been. I know. I like it too, but it's usually been the Lightning Hawk Tainted Rounds have been first, and then folks kind of make different adjustments from there in terms of what their next tier of item is. I think it's because you know that the magic damage is enough and people aren't building magic defense that if you just get that attack speed online and that on-hit proc, then because you're working your passive in to do the true damage. So that's what you want to do. You want to get that pulse fire passive. Oh my gosh, say that 5 times fast, Spooky. To hit as much as possible. Yeah, give it a shot for the fans. Let's see if you can.
All right. Pulse fire passive, pulse fire passive, pulse fire passive, pulse fire passive, pulse fire passive. I think I stumbled on that second or third one there a little bit.
Okay, well, I think that's at least like 5 bits from everybody in the chat. All right, toss some bits for Spooky. You played some DRG, man. I'm rich. I love that game. It's such a fun time. But yeah, I think that's probably the reason, right? You want to work more to that passive to get the true damage than anything else. We get to look at our beautiful faces now, Spooky. Would you look at that?
I get to look at your beautiful face.
That's okay. Fair enough. I don't know what else to say about that.
You're gonna have to because I'm looking.
Oh, are we? Can I look this way? Am I looking at
wrong
you?
way, Philly.
You know my mirrors. I can't do mirrors. Oh, okay, all right. We learned at land that I am not mirror savvy. I don't know which way is left or which way is right. This Grim, though, I love that he's back in the meta. He's such a fun character to play. But you have to protect him.
One of my favorites.
4 against. I know you're a carry main yourself, so I'm glad. Usually you play the Drongo, but I guess maybe you'll switch to the Grim now that people are focusing on him.
Oh, but I love the Grim.
He's that 4 protect 1 because he can do that damage. But if you're this far behind, your protection is paper thin.
It's not great.
Every time he was in those fights was getting eliminated so quickly. Anytime Deca Jordan was in there, eliminated so quickly. So if your defense is non-existent, then the Grim can't do anything as strong as he may be. So very difficult here for Team X to turn this around. I think the door is closing on them. We're going to get back into the game now. It looks like we might have this one unpaused shortly.
Oh, look at that. I thought we were actually going to come right back in. And we are right back in. Girali.
Huge.
Should be back and get himself a reset here. Everyone else, though, moves on forward. Wait, did we pause again?
Oh, so he wasn't just waiting here to try to nab somebody. He
No,
was
he was not just
actually
trying to nab
disconnected.
somebody. It wasn't just a sneaky little pick that he was trying to do. However, it was sneaky enough because it seemed that everyone kind of passed by him without even noticing.
Well, we'll call that a good sportsmanship. So I appreciate that.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
I think
no
they
sportsmanship
did not
here.
see him.
He's just short enough. He's like me. I'm only
Just-
5'8",
just
so
enough.
he's just short enough to be right under the wall. There's short kings out there. Grux is part of the crew with us, buddy. We appreciate that. Speaking, I do want to highlight this Ashbringer because I've been seeing the evolution of this item on Grux throughout this tournament. Right, as we were watching more and more games, researching everything, I'm like, okay, what's the tech here? Why are people doing this? And it's about the Chrono Strike. So on successful basic attacks, you get that reduction to your non-ultimate cooldowns. And so that means more double pains, which means you can sustain in lane longer because you're healing yourself. So, and along with just the base stats, it gives you that extra attack speed, extra crit chance, ability haze, physical power, whatever. The flip side of that, though, is that you are squishy. So for example, if a Grux builds Sky Splitter first, which we do see from time to time, that's immediately called out for the rest of the squad. People are calming that 100%. This guy's squishy now. This guy's squishy now. First primary target, right? Same thing with the Ashbringer. He's squishy. He doesn't have
He's got the turtle shell on his back, so you got to be tougher, right?
Yeah.
You got to give you at least one extra armor.
That should be part of the passive, right? It not only gets the bleed, he gets the Kraken shell from Tidehunter, right? It's just like, that's a Dota character. Sorry. Don't play League or Smite. My bad. Actually, what's the Japanese like spirit character? It's like a spirit that has the shell, the kappas, the kappas, little kappa monsters.
In League or in Dota?
No, just in general,
or just in general
Japanese history.
Okay,
right?
I think you might be talking about kappas. The ones with like the water, the bull heads with the water in their heads.
Yeah. The little kappas.
Those are
He's got a kappa shell. They're pretty indestructible.
Kuzubo is the king of the kappas, if you didn't know.
There you go. I did not. So hey, we're learning something. Chat's learning something. I love to see it. But the Ashbringer makes him still a little bit squishy. However, these are technically skilled players, so they know they're getting their basic attacks in, so it helps them with their certain rhythm. They go
you
1,
they're
2,
technically
paint,
skilled players.
They're technically like they have good technique.
Technically like skilled with their technique. Okay, I understand.
Yes,
I'm picking it up. I was like, that's slander, Philly.
I know. Sorry, no flame for the players. I love these guys. They're fantastic. But it helps with their rhythm. It's a new set. You know, you go click, click, pain, click, click, pain, click, click, pain because of how the tempo works now. So if you can keep that tempo on, you can keep your healing up, which allows you to sustain the fights, etc. So then maybe you don't necessarily need that HP, but still, you're a vulnerable target because you don't have that at the early onset. So just a little insight into that Ashbringer pick because we've been seeing it a lot here, and I'm sure you all will be seeing it in your games shortly, if not today.
Well, Jirali, a little bit of a vulnerable target. Ronin, a little bit of a vulnerable team without Jirali. Which means we are going to be taking a quick break. Give us just 1 minute, and we'll be right back with everything fixed. pretty much exactly 1 minute. And look, Girardi able to get back to base.
Huge.
No death to his name off that one, I'm assuming. So all's well that ends well. Or says it's at 9%, but I think he's a little bit healthier than that right now.
Absolutely. And you know, Choice Plays is the spoiler extraordinaire. So you may have seen the spoiler alert between this match, but the writing was kind of already on the wall here, Spooky. They do have the Prime buff with them. I would imagine they're going to set a wave or two and then just kind of push this one in. They're firmly in the advantage. They're an item up everybody on their squads. Their levels are, you know, yeah, the level disparity is there to boot. Like in the offlane, look, it's 3 levels between this Grux and this Terra. This Terra is going to be doing nothing in these fights. So get the Shaper, get the Seedlings at your back. Let's take the core.
One little known fact about Choice Plays, though, is that he also likes to lie and deceive and mislead me specifically. So you never know. Although TeamX might be looking to wrap this one up here. Drekkager Dan, you cannot be up that far. Oh no, the Stasis Bomb connects. That's gonna mean easy peasy is an easy target. Move on forward. Flame Boykin wants Tutankhamun to go into a hole. And the rest of his team looks down range. Proper clean on Romaware. Both targets. The cutoff is here. Wait, why did you stasis there of all places? Blink forward. No, that's into enemy territory. Cheech, super low, but it's not going to matter. Remy finds the shot, and that is just a cascading effect. Call it dominoes. Shaman doesn't get stunned down. And Proper Clean still trying to pull Flame Poikin away from the support. And he comes through again. I can't believe he's alive. The shield comes in clutch, and just like that, the Ronin secure themselves a win. And remind you all, the choice does not always lie.
How did Flame survive? He had no health in
Crazy.
That was wild work from him.
Disrespectful even.
Yeah, just some bad manners. He just dove under the core. He didn't even care. Like, I love to see it. But that was actually a really interesting play to have the Ion Strike dropped right on top of him, knowing the timing as soon as he pops out of the stasis, and the people were around him. So that was a cool play. The gadget did stasis because the Obliterate came in, Spooky. So if he got caught with the Obliterate, he would have been rooted. So it's like, pick your poison, I guess.
That's true. So you could blink the other way, though.
That he could have blinked the other way. That's right. Turn your mouse around real fast and shoot that way. But Ronin, you know, that was an emphatic statement there in game number 1. They took that easy peasy.
They looked absolutely fantastic, and it wasn't without fight from TeamX, right? I can see a world where this goes to 3 games. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit around the objectives, around the team fights. Maybe TeamX just need to be more willing to take steps out of those lanes, get together, and start pushing for those bigger targets.
Yeah, and I think that it's the off lane as well, because if you always have to think about that in the back of your mind, like, is our off lane good? Are we going to get backdoored? Then you feel a little hesitant to then make some of those risky plays because you know that there will be a trade on the other side of the map. So I think they got to clean up that off lane with maybe a better pick. Sorry, Terra. You know how I feel about Terra, Spooky, so we'll leave that conversation for another day.
I'll leave it to the side.
Yeah, right. But I think if they clean up that off lane, pick a different, a more comfortable pick for Dan, I think they'll be all right moving into game number 2.
Well, you've had our thoughts, everybody. Let's get back to the desk, get their thoughts, and see what they think about game number 2 and 1.
Thanks, friends. 1 in the bucket here. Ronin taking it, and it looks like a lot of Terra talk during the picks and bans. It didn't work out. Tang. I guess we got to chat.
Yeah, I mean, it might just not be the hero after all, I think. It was a solid try, but I think the kill there was what sealed the deal for Drekkager Dan. The second he falls behind, he just keeps on getting punished by Giroli. And also
max dam so everybody else can set up.
The Quang, usually, like, as the Sevarog, you build tanky. If you build tanky, you want something like Cybernetic that is really good into AP damage. So picking it up against the Quang, honestly, what you're saying is, I like to get smacked, but I like to get into the late game, and then I'm gonna outscale you anyway. So honestly, I don't hate it out of Drekkager Dan. He's just gonna say, we're gonna keep it low. We're just gonna not be super flashy in the early game, and then hopefully in the late game we're just gonna have this pick comp, and it's just gonna be beautiful to watch.
Well, game 2 on the docket. Write it down in quotes. I like to get slapped. Tang himself. Let's jump into game 2 and see who's getting slapped.
Who is getting slapped is the big question on both teams' minds, and both teams want it to be the other guy. Thank you so much, F. Falcon, Tang. You guys are beautiful as always. Philly, we got a game 2 here. I don't know. First game had signs of life, but I need to see more to really feel confident. And seeing this Rampage in the support, I mean, that's just another wrench thrown into things. You have the Richter, but he's in jungle.
But Proper Clean is known for this Richter jungle. He's played it a lot throughout this tournament. So I kind of like this. As soon as I saw that opener from them, I'm like, all right, I know exactly what they're trying to do. Having the Rampage in the support role is one setup for the Proper Clean to make advances into that side lane, right? You throw the rock that sets up the fishing hook. You go from there, Pounce Rumble combination, what have you. And then this Dragon Jordan on the Sevarog. Another setup. Right? You get the subjugate, they're locked in place, then you get the hook in, and then you can go from there. So, or if you skewer, you can then execute because you want the execute augment, right? So if you do your little harvesting, you can hopefully kill somebody. I like it. It's just, is the timing for Sevarog available in this game? Are they going to be able to last long enough to get him where he wants to be? If they do, this is going to be a 3-2 style, right? Where you have the 3 beefy boys in the front, Graham and Argus in the back line, and then they're just going to be pumping magical damage. On the other side, though, Jax is playing the Greystone in the off lane. He's a true jungler by nature. And so a lot of that hero pool kind of coincides in terms of what characters you're playing. I think Greystone is just a very safe pick. It's just, you've got an escape. Your ultimates can save you. You have that second life. So even if he doesn't feel comfortable with off lane tactics, you can feel good about this character, though. Right now, he's getting pushed in with a massive creep wave.
Big creep wave, but he does hit level 2. One thing that I have in my mind is that Greystone just feels like a slightly stronger early game character than the Sevarog, right? Sevarog has to take the time to scale up, has to get those souls online. This Greystone can start fighting a lot sooner and do a lot more damage. And I have to wonder if that's going to limit how much time this Sevarog has to scale up, right? Because that's the thing. Timing is everything for TeamX right now. Question is, do they have it?
Yeah, it's the bend, don't break. How many strokes can we live before it's too late and giving up a first blood? Yikes, spooky.
About 2.5 minutes is how long you can bend before you break. First blood comes through, that goes right on to Jax. And that's not great for Dan, right? Now the Greystone, who already has a better early game, has a gold lead on you. You did a good job of pushing him out early, but that'll only go so far.
Yeah, and then he's going to get a big creep wave in that allows him to get Scion buff, so he gets an extra boon. He can then go back because he knows he has this other wave going, get into his item, so he has the same power spiking as Dan as he comes back to lane. So, yeah, good advantages for getting that first blood in the off lane for sure. It's about, can Dan make use of this little window that he has to farm should the Greystone go back? Yeah, you see Jax doing that now. So as long as he gets these last hits with the spells to get the stacks, that's what's important. I do want to talk about this Argus because Falcon and the Desk were like, we talk about Argus, man. We do certainly do. His power spiking time is around level 9 when he has his max particle shredder stacks, right?
Right.
So he's a little early for the holidays here, but I love that skin. So he wants those max particle shredder stacks. That's when he's really going to be pumping damage. I think it's about, okay, he doesn't have technically the burst potential like the Howitzer doesn't have that, or the gadget, right? The hats just explode on people and really do a ton of work. The global or the AoE ultimate from the Tesla Dome is just so impactful. So Argus, yes, he has the damage, but you kind of have to be pumping it, which then means you have to itemize for it, etc. His other thing is escapability. He has the crystal, and that's about it. If you're not hitting the crystal to jump a little bit and then maybe hitting the Dreadnova down to get yourself out, you're easy to jump on. So I think that's why we don't see the Argus as much in comparison to the gadget, the Howitzer, like we've been seeing so far. Right now, though, Flame Boykin back on the Kwong. I love to see it. He's going to play that aggressive style once again.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of targets to choose from, too, right? He's still got that Grim on the opposite side. Now he's got Roma Ware as well on this Argus. And obviously there are tools Roma has to get Flame Poiken off of him. But at the same time, as the jungler, you can set up for a gank and just wait for an ability to be used and then say, okay, now's my time to go in. So the big question is, how does Flame on this Hwang play against this Richter? Proper Clean, obviously very skilled at it. What does that matchup look like?
Yeah, those two, they're going to be playing on different sides of the map. I don't think they're ever going to want
each
to...
other.
Yeah,
The matchup is there is none.
Exactly. Just because they're looking to do two different things, you don't really... If you do... It's like wet noodles hitting each other when they do find each other. It's like you don't really... Who cares? So play your game as a jungle. Not that you can't counter jungle with invades and stuff. Obviously, that's always important to get experience, but we're seeing a 4-man group up here potentially. Okay, no. They're just pasturing for Fang. But it's that wet noodle fight. They don't really want to go after each other, so play your game, look for your ganks, control tower, your team to set it up. Drakendra Dan's far forward at half health. Flame Boykin is on this side.
Jax can go ahead and start up the fight with Dan. Doesn't have enough damage just yet, but Flame Poiken is coming in. Assault the gates doesn't find too much. Good dash out from Dan. Keeps him alive. On the other side, Proper Clean finds the skewer onto Remy, and he's got no way out of this one. Trying to find a forced shot for a kill, but he cannot find it before he drops. Roma also on the back end, hunting for Cheech. Nova connects, but they're not going to find anything off of it. Instead, turn their eyes over to Fangtooth. An objective that was so evasive for them in game number 1 finally graces them with its presence.
Yeah, great rotation here from the side of TeamX, and it's off the back of Proper Clean. That's what you want to do. This Richter, you gotta hit the hooks to get the work done, and they do just that. First jungle objective on the board, a little extra gold in their pockets as well. So great start for them. Yeah, they lost a kill in the off lane, but that's maybe not their strongest part of their team. They gotta make up for it elsewhere, and they do just that.
And Flame also finds a nice little invade onto that red buff. So sure, you've lost a little bit, but you've taken steps to make sure it's not getting too crazy. And I think that's something that Team X was missing out on in game 1, was they lost objectives and they couldn't find opportunities to find those invades. Now, they're starting to get some objectives, but getting invaded, not the end of the world, still have some time here. I'd love to see a little bit more aggression paid towards these objectives as they come up. Find a way to unlock Dan from this lane, though. I don't know if that's through rotating and getting Proper Clean to try to alleviate some of this pressure that Jax has, or just leaving him completely alone. Maybe that's your answer, because that rock just came out of nowhere.
Just the timing, just a smidge off between them, because the subjugate was there. You had to do it, but then just enough to force Jax back, but maybe not enough to take him out of the fight, because he has the ultimate available. This is going to be contested prime.
Good stun hits both of them. Shield wall going to make sure that this crystal doesn't do too much. Cheech goes on in. They're looking for Proper Clean first. Has to go over the wall. Cheech and Flame Boykin now on their own in the middle of things. Mini Prime does get secured. Goes right on a Flame.
And a blink expended for Proper Clean, but maybe his life as well, as he's giving him the run around here. The creeps, the hat, oh, the tower, oh, everything for Proper Clean.
It was doomed.
Yeah, it was cursed from the start there, friends. But now Jax, he is on the tear. The Sacred Oath chops down the Argus. No escape from him. People falling down here on Team X.
What is so sacred about this oath? Like, you're killing people, dude. You're murdering a small dwarf in his own lane. You don't even belong here.
I guess he what is it in D&D when you don't do your oath as a paladin? He's
an oath breaker.
He's an oath breaking knight there, and I think that's exactly why it's cursed up. But he does find the elimination. Jax looking very good on this Greystone early on in this one.
Looking very good, and that's the start you need on this Greystone as well if you're going to keep this Sevarog in check. I don't know. Do we see Team X try to make some rotations over? Because it feels like Dan is going to need some assistance here. Otherwise, the damage is going to be too much. He's not going to be able to clear. He's going to get pushed into this tower or forced back to base. And he's going to start losing minion waves. And obviously, as a Sevarog, you really can't afford to be losing too many minion waves, because that's where all your power spike is.
Yeah, you make a good point there, Spooky, but I think I should at least wait until the 12-minute mark, because right now you have the plates that gives extra durability to your tier 1 tower.
That's right. That's
so
true.
You can allow that to be pushed in. And as a Sevarog, you do want to be pushed in a little bit, so that way you can secure those creeps safely.
Playing them wrong.
So But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for him to get where he wants to be. But so far, I mean, if you look at the towers, no plate's really gone anywhere else. So you lose that one Fang, and that's about it. So I think they're okay with where they're at right now.
That's a big question here, too. Because TeamX obviously want to scale up into this late game, right? They've got a Sevarog, they've got an Argus, they've got the Grim. All fantastic the later this game goes. Ronin have Gadget and Revenant, both good in the late game, but are they good enough to shred through what they will have? They're going to shred through proper clean. I'm sorry, that's actually Tutanchaman who will fall. Remy pick up the kill on that one. So obviously they have the damage to shred through the front line now, but does that continue the later the game goes?
I think so. And that is what the Revenant is there to do. Those Hellfire rounds just cut through tanks. Yep, pop, indeed, friend. And so, yeah, he's just going to be obliterating people, especially as he scales throughout the game. So I think it's going to be okay. It's about the setup here from Team X. They're going to look to get these hooks. Yoink!
Oh my god, straight through the shield wall, but not enough follow-up. That was a very good hook. Unfortunate for Team X, they can't really capitalize off of it. They're going to look for Flame here. That's a lot of damage. The Skewer is even better, hits 2 targets, but the boulder goes wide. Security Gate comes through, and Flame Point is still alive. From Aware firing off as much damage as he can find, but Proper Clean's not going to see any of it. A double kill for the Kwang, and Dan comes along to try to help out his team. Does not have a whole lot here. That should just be a disengage from both sides.
But 2 go down there for Team X. And it's there. If you're playing this composition, you have to layer the CC. If you do not layer the CC, you won't have the time, the damage to lay down in the time that you need. And they missed it 2 times in that engagement. And 2 people fell off the back. That was their timing. Roma got to level 9. He has the max particle shredder ability. You can see that right there. They just missed the layering on those abilities. And then that's a Fangtooth for the side of Ronin. They level the score. I understand why Dan made this rotation, right? Second Fang, you do want to leave the offlane and make that rotation over, but I would have preferred him to actually stay over there and get more of those stacks. We need you to scale, lad. We need you to be that front line for the team. And he kind of just wasted time just floundering over here, gliding back over there. So, I don't know, just a tough look there for Team X.
Floundering here, gliding there, slithering up over there. At the end of the day, 0 souls were collected for the Sevarog. They'll put him a little bit behind. And the thing is, you do still have some room to work with, right? Because, sure, that was second Fangtooth, but it was only the first for Ronin. So theoretically, on the next one, you could still make that sacrifice and say, I'm not rotating. Cheech will not be saying that. He's saying I'm rotating directly into Romaware. Big burst of damage, but not enough. Flame Poikin, not willing to make this dive just yet. So do you give up this third Fangtooth if you're Dan? Or maybe not give up, but, stay in your lane.
Yeah, it depends on where your lane is currently at. Do they get a kill onto Jax before that happens? Are there a creep wave pushing into you, right? There's some conditions that need to be met for him to be unlocked. But I know, it's a variable. Why this game's got to have variables, Spooky? So tough. It's so tough but that's why we love MOBAs, because it's so variable. There's so many decision trees that people can go down. So it will depend when that timer comes up, but they'll have to think ahead, Team X, to plan for it. Where are our timings here for Dan? How do we unlock him, etc.? But I'm also looking at Proper Clean. We've highlighted Dan enough, I think, my friend. Proper Clean has to get things done on this Richter. You need to have that threat of I can get yoinked at any time. And right now, Ronin, they're not feeling it. They just went right for the prime. They didn't even care about what the vision was. They only had 2 wards down. They secure it easy because that threat is just not there yet from Proper Clean.
Well, here's the big question, though. What is the threat from Proper Clean, right? He lands a hook. What happens after that? Is my Argus gonna particle shredder for 5 seconds and kill somebody? Like, there's no big burst to secure the priority after finding that hook. So what does Proper Clean look? Where does he go? Who is he targeting to make sure that there's actually a threat when he shows up?
Yeah, and I think that's why we were talking about why Argus is not necessarily picked all the time, because he doesn't have that burst potential. You have to hit a bunch of particle shredders hits to then get your passive unlocked and then etc. But there he goes. Ooh. He finds the nice target again. The duo lane is where he's playing. You can see him do the vertical jungling up and down here, Spooky, because he's hunting in this lane. He's found 2 already.
So it seems like Remy is just the target, right? Probably the squishiest member of the team, doesn't have a potential Epoch to save his life. Flame Poikin doesn't care about Epochs either. He's just going to take out Rumaware right there, right easy. Take out a tower as well. Proper Clean going to be in the area. Boulder does connect, and that's going to be a hook follow-up. Do they have the damage now? She goes in and says, no! A shield slam will stop you! What a bull rush! That's got double kill for Flame, and he's looking for a third. It's going to be all up to Gadget. Kimbo comes in, Cheech tanking the tower up, but no one else is committing. The hat is there, and Kimbo finds it.
Oh my word, what a shield slam, and what, a subjugate hammer to the Jax. He does have the Stoneforge Soul though, folks. I think he'll be just fine, but okay. Action though. He does use it? No, he doesn't use it.
Oh no, he doesn't. I looked at Quam, sorry.
No. He's good. But that shield slam from Cheech, oh my word. That was a great counter initiation from the support there to save his squad. I mean, Proper's like, guys, I got this. Yoink, gets one away, but dang, that just staved off the advance there. Well done from him. Now they feel like, okay, do they have a window here to get the Shaper easy? He's by himself.
No, they do not. At least not solo. That's gonna be a blink that comes out. Flame will be pushed away, so Easy Peasy does get to keep his life. But man, there are some things that you just can't do when starting the Shaper solo, down 8 kills and a few thousand gold is one of those things. Now Ronin get the priority, take the Shaper, start the world shift as well. And just as this world shifts, it feels like the momentum of the game has shifted fully into control of Ronin. Right from the Shaper over to the Fangtooth, TeamX, I don't want to see them here.
Yeah, I think they have to give this one up, and I agree. Like, Dan is on the opposite side of the map. He's getting this tower down. I think that's a viable trade. It's not the best thing, but it's one you will take at this point in the match, especially if you can get those stacks online for your Sevarog. But then it's like, okay, what do you do from here if you're the side of Team X? Do we group up and wait for the next Prime to come online in 3 minutes? Do we go for an invade? Is there an aggressive play that we can do, or just go for something minor at this time? We're taking a look here at the scoreboard for just a second as we're heading back into the game here, Spooky. Is it okay? Things are popping in, but I'm not seeing them.
Did you see the dust cloud it created?
Yeah.
Where you just zoomed on out of there? I tell you, Philly, this is the one time I think we haven't looked at the sky when the world shift comes down. And it took that personally, it feels like. So Ronin secure themselves a second Fangtooth. Not the third, but it does mean that the next Fangtooth is going to be that Primal. Which means Team X is out of free cards, basically. They have to show up to the next one. And they have some time to get themselves in position for it first. They have to look for a pick, look for some farms, something to make sure that when they look at this Primal, it's an actual contention and not them just walking into a guillotine.
Yeah, TeamX, they've got to pick their next fight very carefully, but do you have the tools to do it? That's why you have a Richter. A Richter is designed to make sure you're picking your fight carefully.
Right.
There's Rumaware expending the blink not so carefully because he's under duress.
Yeah, Roma gonna run straight to his team. Gonna be all right there, but TeamX does get left behind. Behemoth gets popped. The other crystal cuts off a little bit of a path here, and the obliterate gonna finish the job. Meanwhile, Cheech goes up the shield wall, just looking to aggress further. Romaware, no, you stayed behind, and that means a double kill from Rariovsky. And you find a third, not likely with how high up your targets are. Easy Peasy better be careful about where he steps forward at.
And that was the back of Cheech. He just bull rushed into the retreating Team X squad, and then they were like, well, I think we could kill him, and that was their mistake, because then they stayed too long, and they lost 2 members for it. I mean, Tootin' Shaman, he sacrificed his life. He said, guys, I'm the support, I'll be Behemoth, I'll just go. And then they didn't coordinate as effectively to do that, so they lost Room Aware on the back of that one as well. But Cheech, man, just playing so aggressive on this steal, and I love to see it off the back of those 2 picks. They're going into the prime.
Here's the thing. When someone dives you like that, the response cannot be, can we kill this guy? It has to be either be, kill this guy or get out. If there is a question in this position, you can't afford to go for it because the rest of the team is right behind that, and it just leaves too much up to chance. You give up too much if you can't do it. We see that in practice here. Now Mini Prime goes down, the last one of the game, going to Ronin. And the tools for Team X to grab to pull themselves back in are starting to slip behind, right? If they gave up on that left side, they probably don't have an opportunity to go for the Mini Prime. But they can probably contest a little bit more easily by having members actually alive.
Absolutely. And I'm worried as this game goes further how Team X is going to contest some of these bigger objectives. Now that we're at the 20-minute mark, the Orb Prime is on the board, Primal Fang is up next. You don't have big team fight ultimates. You need to get those picks first before you jump in. Because think about this. You've got the Tesla Dome and the Shield Slam. You put those together. Hell, put in the Stone Form Soul, and you slow people up in the Tesla Dome. And so they're taking double damage, right? So it's very challenging. They have to find the picks. But Spooky, the big thing is, I'm not seeing the vision. Where are the wards on the map here for Team X right now? No wonder they can't get anything off. They can't see anyone.
Got a few of them down, but not nearly enough. Meanwhile, you take a look at Team Ronin. They've got wards down in enemy territory. They're looking to keep things lit up. They are warding where they want to go, and I think that's the most critical difference, right? Team X has wards down around that mid lane. It's just protecting them in their lane. They're not looking for where they want to get aggressive. Easy peasy, spending his time getting aggressed upon. Doesn't have a whole lot of ways out. Tries to blink, but gets followed. Assault the gates. No, assault the fridge. Try to push him away, but it's just not enough. Flame takes down Roma. Remy takes down Easy. Now we're probably looking at Ronin taking down a Fangtooth.
Oh my god. I mean, Jax expends the blink to do the chase, and you can see the damage being pumped, but it's not enough at this point. The Grim still needs more levels, and I think that is the counter pick between Grim and Rev. Because Rev builds Vanquisher, you can get that extra execute proc when you hit the 4th shot if it gets them to below a certain health point, which can finish a low health target, whereas Grim is not going to build that item necessarily. So yeah. I think that's the difference between those, is that there is a certain power spike where Remy beats the Grim in this mid game. As we go later, I then think Grim has it as long as your team can protect him. So yeah, I think that's where why teams are picking the Revenant as opposed to the Grim, is when they see that Grim pick comes out. So a good Fangtooth take there, friend. They've got the 3rd on the board.
Does Grim have anti-tank online? Like, does he have Demolisher, Sky Splitter? Let's take a quick look at the build, see where he's at in that real fast here. If Bengal Mac will oblige me. There it is. No,
nope,
he does not.
Puritor.
Oh, it wouldn't be Demolisher because he does magic damage. I'm so silly.
That's okay. I mean, I would see it, but I think he's going to go Caustica. Is that the Scalding Scepter, I believe that is. So Caustica is next on the board. I don't know if anyone's building. I didn't check if anyone's building because I was looking at him. But, I mean, you're still burning through the damage. Caustica definitely a fine choice, but
I feel like he needs a Sky Splitter.
Yeah, because that helps with the attack speed. That helps with some life steal. But right now, friend, we got to focus on the Prime. That guy, he's on a chopping block.
Tower goes down on the side of Ronin. Now, can they find anything else?
Slam.
Big shield slam connects onto 2, and just like that, Proper Clean wants to find the skewer, but he just finds himself an early grave. Remy wants to walk through the rest of this fight, and just in the blink of an eye, Team X have disappeared. Toon Shaman, my support, is full health on the right side.
Yeah, he's the only one living to tell the tale of this one in the beer halls after the battle, because, oh my word, the shield slam just squished Romaware, and the Tesla Dome zapped him. That was the wombo combo we were talking about. Now a full 5 minutes, and these health bars are still very healthy.
They're gonna go
they're going right to the core, buddy. I think this one's over.
They're gonna look to end it. The Ronin come charging on in. They've got their minions, and Tutankhamun is a lone defender. He was a lone defender, but he's just a lone grave. Team X goes down, and Ronin take it in 2.
That was dominance start to finish.
Yes.
I love Proper Clean. Great lad, great streamer. Fine
Very
on the Richter.
clean.
Just very clean guy. He's looking like Mr.
Great
Clean right
hygiene.
now. He just couldn't facilitate enough. He got 2 kills on Remy in that in the duo lane, but then that was about it. Didn't find anything after that. And then this Argus, big fan of Argus, but you saw some of his vulnerabilities in that game, right? Yeah. Not that escapability, an easy target, because sometimes in the composition, maybe it's the 3-2, but sometimes he finds himself right here in the middle behind the tanks, and you can just jump on him right as you hop over, squish him. So definitely some vulnerabilities there for TeamX. Unfortunately, they will bow out of the PCC EU series. Ronin, they move on.
Yeah, I think honestly, Tang last desk could sum this game up very effectively. When all 3 of your lanes are losing gracefully, it's not a very graceful loss. And we just saw Ronin controlling every single lane. There was never any follow-up for proper clean. No one was in position to take those fights. And at the end of the day, that's what happens. Congratulations, Team Ronin. Commiserations to Team X. And let's send it once more back to the desk.
Welcome back to our spot. We've got a little bit to break down before we say goodbye to you and start looking on to next week, because there's more Pred action for